but with coupe aggression. Its 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8 turned out 707 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque, capable of rocketing it from 0 to 60 in roughly 3.6 seconds. Down the quarter mile, it trapped the lights at an astonishing 11.2 seconds, leaving competitors and casual onlookers blinking in disbelief. And remember, this was all straight from the factory. No aftermarket wizardry needed. What made it mesmerizing wasn't just raw output, but the way it presented that power. Drop the hammer and the Hellcat didn't just accelerate, it annihilated the quarter mile with a growl that rattled nerves and a launch that seemed too violent for its size. Every straightaway became a battlefield, every red light a challenge, and every rev a declaration. This wasn't here to play nice, it was here to dominate. Of course, perfection has a price. Its massive weight made nimble handling tricky, especially in corners. Tires could protest under too much throttle, and fuel consumption was absurd, even for a muscle car. But those were small compromises for a machine that made such a commanding statement. An unapologetic monster that combined classic Challenger style with pure, unfiltered aggression. The 2017 Hellcat didn't just remind you what American muscle could do, it dared you to keep up. And if you thought that was intense, buckle in. The next cars on this list raise the stakes even higher. 4. 2021 Dodge Challenger Superstock. It looked calm, almost casual, like a Challenger you might see cruising past your neighborhood without drawing a second glance. But beneath that deceptively simple exterior hid a machine so singular in purpose, it made even the Hellcat look polite. And before we say its name, keep this in mind. This car was built to put anyone who underestimated it on notice, faster than their reaction time could handle. The 2021 Dodge Challenger Superstock carried a 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8 tune to 807 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque, a slight step up from the Hellcat, but with one very important twist. It was optimized exclusively for the drag strip. That meant a 0 to 60 time of roughly 3.25 seconds and a quarter-mile time of 10.5 seconds at over 131 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest production Challengers ever produced. Factory-built, street-legal, yet frighteningly close to a purpose-built drag car. What made the Superstock unforgettable wasn't just the numbers, it was how effortlessly it delivered them. Every launch was precise, almost surgical, with a trans brake system that allowed drivers to exploit every ounce of power without hesitation. The rear tires dug in as if they had a mind of their own, and the suspension handled the violent weight transfer like a pro athlete bracing for impact. It didn't just go fast, it telegraphed domination from the very first foot. Of course, such specialization had trade-offs. Its focus on straight-line terror made it less nimble in corners. Without ideal traction, all that power could overwhelm the rear tires instantly. In fuel economy, let's just say it's a number you'll never check. But for anyone who cares about one thing, the quarter-mile supremacy, flaws were irrelevant. The 2021 Challenger Superstock wasn't just fast, it was surgical, precise, and unapologetically extreme. And if that made you flinch, wait until we hit number 3. 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. It looked like a classic muscle car, a car you'd expect to see on posters in teenage bedrooms, but there was a darkness hiding beneath those crisp lines. Before we name it, consider this. This car didn't just compete with the muscle cars of its era, it humiliated them, all while wearing one of the most innocent shapes on the road. The 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda came with a legendary 426 cubic inch Hemi V8, officially rated at 425 horsepower, though insiders knew the real figure was closer to 500 horsepower at the crank. Torque, a monstrous 490 pound-feet, delivered in a raw, unfiltered rush that could launch it from 0 to 60 in around 5.6 seconds. A number that sounds tame today, but was blistering in its time. The quarter mile, a staggering 13.1 seconds on skinny tires, at a speed that left many competitors scratching their heads. And remember, this was all from a factory car, no exotic tuning or aftermarket trickery needed. What made the Hemi Cuda unforgettable wasn't just the power, it was the way it handled that fury. Lightweight with perfect weight distribution, it could claw its way down the strip with precision. Drop the hammer and it lunged forward with the kind of urgency that left spectators cheering and rivals panicking. It was audacious, unapologetic, and very aware of its own capability. Of course, nothing that extreme comes without compromise. Its bias-ply tires required careful management. Steering could feel twitchy at high speeds, and braking needed respect. But those were minor details in a machine designed to dominate in a straight line and terrify anyone foolish enough to challenge it. The 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda didn't just make a statement, it defined an era of muscle, raw and unrelenting. If you're loving these insane factory beasts so far, hit that subscribe button, because the top 2 cars on this list are next-level terrifying. 2. 1969 Chevrolet Copo Camaro 427 ZL1. It started